War Eagle War Rapport family, I'm your host C-Dub, and we have a great show planned for you guys tonight. Coach Harsin fills out his football staff. We'll definitely be discussing the new hire at wide receivers coach, and also it's game night. Auburn takes on Ole Miss at home, and the fellas are all here to discuss that, as well as how can Auburn start the game or avoid slow starts in games moving forward. Much on that later, but for now, sit back, get your weight up, because tonight we enter the war room.
You are now listening to the War Rapport. Wednesday night War Room. Brought to you by AuburnSports.com. Ike Jones. B. Will. C. Mike G. Let's go!
War Eagle, everyone. War Eagle. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to the latest Wednesday Night War Room, brought to you by our show sponsor, AuburnSports.com. Head on over there for your latest in terms of recruiting and all news regarding Auburn sports. Shout out to JG and the fellas over there for doing an amazing job each and every day. Appreciate you guys. Also, we want to thank you, War Rapport family, for hanging out with us on game night. Whether it's live or even on replay, man, do us a favor. If you're on social media, share the video, use hashtag #GetYourWeightUp, help people find our content. Let's expand our community. Speaking of expanding our community, you need to become a patron if you're not already. My G, tell the people all about it, sir.
Hey, listen, become a patron. This is a great thing to do to join our community. You'll find the join button on our YouTube homepage. Just hit that, select patron. We've got lots of great things coming for you guys. So if you've been seeing the basketball content, Ike is dropping tidbits out here. There's more of that behind the paywall for you guys to take a look at. Going to be particularly interesting headed into the SEC tourney and eventually the NCAA tourney. So don't miss out on that. Become a patron. We are partnered with the Lee County Humane Society to raise money for a good cause. So help us hashtag save all the puppies by donating. You can find the link to this fundraiser in the About section of our YouTube channel. 50 cents on every dollar goes to them to help them in their message in their mission to save all the puppies. So do that and be a good person. Listen, we're giving away an AAU t-shirt because it is game night. So hashtag get your weight up in the comments. I see you guys doing this already. This is brought to you by our guy Walt Taylor at GWT2 Energy Consulting Services. So for all your restaurant consulting needs, if you're not making enough money in that business, Walt can help you find some savings. So GWT2 Energy is bringing you guys these giveaways every week. Give him a digital high five. Hashtag get your weight up in the comments. At the 1 hour mark, we're going to pull. So you got to be here to win. We're on podcast. Every single podcast platform there is. We are winning in these podcast streets, fellas. It's going down. B is throwing his hands up right now. You can't see it, but I'm telling you that it's happening. So help us win it podcast. Drop us a 5-star review. Subscribe, download. Let them know that the War Rapport is your favorite podcast out there. Special shout out to our sponsor, Rogue Shop. So go over to rogueshop.com. They are bringing you our gummy moment every week. I'm sure there might be some gummy moments tonight because the game's on. So we'll be with you guys during that. It's going to be a lot of fun. Use code Rapport when you go over there to get 10% off. So shout out to them. And, of course, our title sponsor, AuburnSports.com, our guy, J.G. Tate, helping bring you guys the Wednesday Night War Room every week.
Let's go ahead and get to it. Auburn has a new assistant, a wide receivers coach, and I like this comment by Riley. It says, very solid hire, but there can only be room for one Ike. And he gets the thumbs up or the sign of approval from our very own Ike Jones.
Oh, man. All right, I feel
this is a different Ike. Auburn hires Ike Hilliard as its wide receivers coach.
I like that though. Nah, I'll definitely share it with this one though. So he's cool.
Okay. All right. I feel that.
He need to come on the War Report though. So
Hey, we might. Hey, listen, don't test me. I'll get him on here.
hey,
Talk about these receivers.
let's get it. Let's get it popping.
We might need to do that. Listen, this Hilliard comes with a pretty extensive resume. This guy was in 1996 or during the 90s, he was a first team All SEC and first team All American wide receiver for the Florida Gators, playing under Steve Spurrier. There's a lot of opportunities in that fun and gun offense. He went on to the NFL and played receiver for 12 seasons. Also coached for 11 seasons in the NFL. He's the latest hire that fills out Brian Harsin's staff, which I, for one, am impressed with the hire. I think it's a good pickup, and I'm looking forward to see how he gels with what Harsin wants. And I'm hoping that there's good chemistry there. I'm hoping that he's able to continue to develop and work with our receivers. But I want to get you guys' thoughts on the latest hire. I'll start with you, B.
Well, I was confused as to who he was going to grab this late in the cycle. A lot of the coaching carousel has settled down. Even people who built their staffs late had started to settle in, like Cristobal was filling his out. He was late, super late, but he grabbed whoever he wanted because I guess he's got it like that. And it left me thinking, with the upheaval we just saw, with all the change and the drama surrounding the program, who would sign on for this? And when you know it, an adult stepped into the room and said, yeah, I coach wide receivers. I will coach wide receivers. My name is Ike. I don't know if those are his exact words. That's what, I imagine.
That sound like something Ike would say, though.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm surprised that he's got a pattern here. I want NFL dudes. We saw the theme with the NFL translating with signing day, right? So it was come to the podium, talk about the player at the podium like the commissioner does when he drafts players. And far and wide, that was viewed as a positive. He went to the NFL to get a offensive coordinator initially. That didn't work out. And he went to the NFL to get the D-line coach last year. Nick Eason was in the NFL. So he's got a pattern here. I'm going to get you to the NFL. And you know how I'm going to get you to the NFL? By getting NFL guys to coach you up. This is a positive. This is a win. I don't know how to view this as anything other than a win for him. Now, the question will always come into play. Can he recruit? Does he want to recruit? Is he comfortable recruiting? I don't think anybody is signing on to coach college who doesn't know that that's a major part of the job. But I would imagine that for a guy who played in this conference, played in this league, won in this league, played in the NFL, that he has a lot to say to relate to the kids that we want to bring here and also those parents. I mean, I'm not assuming that he has this personality that is automatically a winning personality, but I'm going to assume he can coach X and O's. I'm going to assume that he can relate to these kids coming in here. And those two automatically, that's win-win. So I love it. It's a great hire.
Talk to me. The original Ike.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the other Ike coming into the Auburn fold?
Listen, as B. Will says, I don't know that there's anything you can do but think that this is a positive thing for this staff. People were concerned about who Coach Harsin was going to be able to pull in. Man, listen, I think he's done a bang-up job putting this staff together. Like you can have questions about Eric Kiesau if you want to as offensive coordinator. And so I think that might be the only one that I will even allow or entertain a conversation of what were we doing here? Because I understand the hesitation on that one because of all of the things surrounding, originally going in another direction, blah, blah, blah. But man, for you to go and get this one after that, rounding out the staff in a colossal way, I feel like is an amazing thing. I need to make sure I do something really quick. Boom. So I could had to change my name real quick so I could make sure it's known. But yeah, so I think it's a colossal hire and I think it's a good thing for the staff to have more NFL guys on here when you are trying to compete in a league that puts people in the NFL consistently, you need to have a strong recruiting pitch to say, hey, we know the guys that can get you there. So I love it.
Mike G, your thoughts, sir?
Yeah. So in terms of recruiting, I think this is a slam dunk. Based on optics alone. Now, as Brian alluded to, who were we going to go get this late in the game? I don't know that there was anyone on the radar that stood out. And some people were anticipating probably another promotion from within. A lot of people were throwing Trevon Reed's name out there. I'm not sure if he was ready for the on-field position, but he is a valued member of the staff. They just named him Director of Recruiting Relations. So I think that's where he's best served right now. But in
football
terms of
and recruiting relations,
right? So I like it. I like the hire. Getting a guy with SEC experience, probably knows the region, played at Florida, coached in the NFL. If you're a receiver right now, and his last stop was the Steelers, I think Ike said he was interviewing for another job.
Yeah, so there was rumor that he was in contention for the offensive coordinator position at the Detroit Lions.
Right. And then Auburn snatches him up. This might be a good stepping stone to the eventual offensive coordinator position that he is probably wanting. So I like it. I think all indications have been from the fan base super positive about this, and they need some positive momentum going into spring practice right now. So I would say great job, Brian Harsin, on this hire. It was what we needed. Now we need to start talking about football.
Right.
It's time to start. They get to work. The receivers know who their coach is going to be. I got some text messages, all indications from some of the parents who this affects is that they're happy with the hire, really happy that their kids are going to play under this guy. So great job.
That was going to be my question for you.
Yeah, I do wonder how this impacts things like Javarius Johnson currently being in the portal. By all accounts, he's still attending workouts, though. So if he might be considering taking his name back out of the portal. I know a lot of people have asked about that. I don't know specifically whether or not he's going to remain there, but I do wonder if now that the staff has rounded out, if he's saying to himself, hey, maybe this is where I do want to stay. So we'll see.
Yeah, I was gonna, spring is less than a month away, a few weeks away. What do you think it's kind of premature, but what could we expect to see out of these receivers? And again, we haven't heard any news about Javarius Johnson in terms of other schools. So I'm curious what this does for the psyche of this team. I mean, Harsin is back, but now they have a guy who is experienced at coaching at the next level. And so what does that do in terms of their confidence in following this guy, especially him working with Harsin? Like, what can we expect to see in terms of improvement? These guys are already in year two of strength and conditioning, year two of understanding the system. And now you have a guy who can actually coach you up, or at least have experience at coaching at the next level. What does this mean for those guys?
I think number one, this has to be about route running, right? Like, he's got to teach these guys how to run routes to the correct depth. How many times do we see a receiver run a route only to be short of the line to gain in critical situations, or just not being able to get open or get separation? So, I hope that he brings that to this offense. Teach these guys how to get off the line, man, make separation between their man and put their body between the defender and the football and make a good play. So I think the NFL, 11 years, man, playing in the NFL, this dude knows how to do these things. Can that translate from up here in his noggin to, these guys who he's going to be coaching? Yet to be seen, but I like it. He's been coaching receivers at the NFL level.
Right. I said, I don't
see why he wouldn't be able to.
I don't think the technical part's going to be an issue for him. He's done it as an athlete and he's done it as a coach. So in the end, and in this league as an athlete, right? Like, it's not like he doesn't understand what the SEC is about. And again, he understands the commitment necessary to get to the next level, right? Not just, man, I was good in college, so I could go play pro ball. How do you remain a pro for all of those years? What are the things I need to be doing right now that are going to put me ahead of the game? What are the things that pro scouts want to see? What are the things that my coaches are going to expect me? Like, he can speak to all of those things day one. He doesn't have to pretend to know. He doesn't have to go in there and make up some stuff that, hey man, this is what I heard from a buddy of mine. Like, he lived it as a pro. He lived it as a coach. He understood what things made him want to say, hey, this guy needs a shot on Sundays. And that's going to translate immediately, because you can't help but listen to that guy talk about what it takes to be a pro receiver. A lot of other people can tell you that's the same pitch that people talk about with Coach Prime down at Jackson State, right? Like, how are you going to not listen to Deion Sanders tell you what it takes to be a professional?
Right.
The man's one of the best cornerbacks that ever laced them up.
Right.
Yeah. Coach
Right.
Prime says, come play for me at defensive back. Yeah, that's where I'm going to play ball. If Ike Hilliard says, hey man, come play wide receiver for Auburn University, might want to listen to that dude.
Yeah.
Hey man, you got what it takes. You just need to do X, Y, Z. All right, coach, let's go do it. So I think it's an amazing thing, and I think it translates immediately for receivers, just understanding. I'm going to say this. This might be the year of Shedrick Jackson. He was already making progress under the previous coaches. Mike and I just talked to a guy that's in the quarterback room and said he played ball with Shedrick in high school, and he said, man, Shed's a lot faster now than he was amazed at the progression physically that Shedrick had taken since he's been here at Auburn.
Mm-hmm.
Shedrick's already knows the offense better than most. His hands have been steadily improving. He gets the technical parts down a little bit better. I still don't want to see him catching 50-50 balls.
Sure.
But understanding
Or
where
go
he
routes.
needs to be in the offense and being on time for his quarterback and having the experience in the room as a leader, he might have a breakout game, breakout season.
Can we settle something right now, though? you dubbed him.
Yeah.
You dubbed him
earned it.
Stonehands.
He earned
right?
it.
So what's the new nickname going to be if he's catching everything?
Oh, the famous Shed Jackson. I'm already there.
The famous Shed Jackson? I feel like is that the opposite of Stonehands though?
I don't know.
Shedrick,
we are
Jackson or something.
we are erasing that. We're erasing Stonehands.
He's trying to let it go, man. Let him let it go. Let's let him let it go.
All right.
Yeah, I'm calling him the famous Shed Jackson this year. If he the old show, the famous.
I'll root for him based on what we just heard like an hour ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm all about it, man. Let's get him in the right position to make the type of plays that he is going to be prone to make.
I like him as a possession receiver. Like I like when he's catching the intermediates. I like it when he does well on those types of routes. Like again, to Ike's point, I don't like it when he's running go routes. I don't like it when he's asked to do the 50-50, but when he's a possession receiver who you check down to, he's in the slot, he does well there. So if he continues to build off on that, then I like our rooms, especially if JJ comes back. I like how things will shape up. Again, listen, I'm still looking forward to Malcolm Johnson.
I'm about to say I like Malcolm Johnson as the burner. I like what we saw with Tavares Dawson in limited ability.
Sure.
People forget, Capers is the big body receiver people say we don't have. If he rounds into shape this year and he's able to go up and be that kind of guy to go get those 50-50 catches, right, then he's going to be amazing for this team. And we still have some freshmen that we haven't seen. We still have Landon King out there. Listen, we have people who can catch passes on this team. Like, I get everybody doesn't see the flashy, Jamar Chase type or the, Keyshawn Butte, right? Like all SEC performer. But if you have a group of guys that can all get it done and the quarterback can go to anybody, that's just as dangerous as having one guy who's a go-to guy. But again, if Shed can be the guy who's like, I know he's going to be where he needs to be on 3rd and 5, and he's able to really like sharpen up that route running, this could be a good year for him. Could be a good year for him.
Indeed. Jazzy Joe, appreciate you, man. Lame location challenge. What state am I in for 50? 50.
I said
Hold on.
Pennsylvania.
Let me see. Let me see if this works. I'm trying this on the fly live, so I apologize.
I thought it was gonna be more.
Jazzy then went and got him his own sponsored segment. Oh,
Yeah,
boy,
man.
boy, I gotta send you a contract. Jazzy
Yeah.
challenge.
Oh
That was smooth. Like I almost went to go get a glass of bourbon
Yeah.
and put on the tux and just sit back and listen to that.
There you go, Jazzy, man. I did that just for you, bro.
That was beautiful. That was beautiful. I almost want
The chat is
you
loving
need to
it.
do that. I'm gonna do that after every time you play.
Can
that.
we just play it one more time?
Yeah, yeah,
Just
one more time.
Right,
I got you.
one more time.
It's like after that, you should be like, yeah, that was smooth, brother.
Yeah.
All right.
Tonight
All right, ladies
on
and
the
gentlemen.
War
Now we
Rapport.
got the Jazzy challenge. Where in the world is Jazzy?
He's in
We're going to the phone
Pennsylvania.
lines.
Give my pity.
What
You
you got,
could be
B?
in Pennsylvania for a
Jazzy.
long ass time. I'm telling you.
I'll say Florida. I don't think we've done Florida yet.
I'm gonna say Kentucky.
Ooh, why would he be there?
I am gonna go with Texas.
You can be in Texas for a long ass time too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's there, Rhode Island.
Mm.
Dun, dun, dun. Jazzy, where are you, man? Tell us.
Where are you, Jazzy? All right. What Damn ATL says, which incoming freshman are y'all
Ooh, this is a
most
good
excited
question.
about at wide receiver?
Um,
Amari
it's,
Kelly, Jay
it-
Fair, or Camden Brown?
it's between Jay Fair and Camden Brown for me. I like Omari Kelly. No shade to Omari Kelly, but Jay Fair. Ooh,
I like. I'm excited about Jay Fair. I'm gonna go Camden Brown. I'm gonna go Camden Brown because again, I think there's some guys because I hear Jay Fair is a burner.
Mm-hmm.
We got some burners. I like Camden Brown, like just as a physical athlete. I'm excited to see what he can do and if he gets some opportunities. So I have to go with Camden. Camden Brown? What about you guys? Mike
like Jay Fair.
said either or.
yeah, I think Jay Fair. I'm gonna go with Jay Fair on
I
this
like
one.
Jay Fair, yeah.
Yeah, I'm a Camden Brown guy. I liked what I saw from him, just a little bit that I have seen from his high school tape. I think he's got all of the intangibles necessary to be a big play receiver. And I think he fits the mold of something that we don't have in the wide receiver room. Like there's a lot of competition for the burner spot right now. So
Texas, he got it.
Oh, nice.
Nailed it. I told you. You could be in Texas for a long ass time.
Texas.
Mm-hmm.
and a little
Nice.
something
Yeah,
extra for the dope intro.
hey.
Appreciate it, sir. Yeah.
Next time we're gonna have somebody
Thank you.
playing the saxophone in the next question, Jazz. If that's what you're dropping, we're gonna
Oh, bro, I love our community.
a Kenny G snippet. If you're gonna
Kenny
do all
G.
of that, yeah.
My dad had every Kenny G CD ever made. Drove my mom crazy. That's all he played was Kenny G. We get in the car.
All
So
right,
do we
man.
want to do the rest of? We want to wait till we get to the basketball for the rest of Jazzy's challenge.
Yeah, we'll wait till we get to the
Yeah,
b-ball
we'll
stuff.
do
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah. Do we have any more thoughts on this hire? I know Mike G announced that they kind of announced some more people off the field. They announced that of course Javon Reed is going to be the director of football and recruiting relations. Like I'm excited to see his role expand given the value he brought to the football program over the past year, especially with recruiting.
Mm-hmm.
How do we feel? I mean, we're hearing good news about another guy who got a promotion, the coach who's coaching edge and special teams. We're hearing that
Rock.
he's starting to make some waves in recruiting. Like, how do we
Yeah.
feel moving forward, despite what's happened with this staff? How do we feel about how this staff as a whole will recruit?
Listen, I honestly believe this entire staff feels offended. I think they all feel offended that people are like, they're gonna tank this year. Like, I think the staff has a chip on their shoulder just as much as the kids playing on the team, and they're going out there to prove to everybody, yeah, we're gonna kill it despite what everybody thinks. and they're going out there with a different kind of hunger to prove people wrong this season. Because number one, they feel as if they took a bet on this coach, and if he doesn't succeed, they're going to try to find a way to get rid of him. So we got to make sure that doesn't happen. And then number two, again, I think that they just fundamentally believe that we can be just as good as everybody else. Like, what are y'all talking about? Like, I don't care nothing about none of this other, like, that stuff is over. Let's move on to football. And this is what I do. I coach football. I recruit kids. Y'all talking crazy.
Yeah,
I just think that's how their whole mentality.
Yeah, I agree. I think they're jacked up, man. If you chose to stay, if you chose to be a part of this, why wouldn't you have taken that personally?
For sure.
And now, again, if it's me, it's not just a War Rapport motto, but like if I'm on this coaching staff, I refuse to be outworked. So you can sling mud on my name, you can say what you want, you can try to discourage us. But the one thing you will not be able to do is look back and say those guys didn't work. So they made the work harder. Auburn made the work harder on itself and on this coaching staff. But you go out and you hire a guy like Ike Hilliard and you promote Trevon Reed to Director of Football and Recruiting Relations, which is not Director of Recruiting, but it is a segment of recruiting where he is establishing relationships with recruits, their parents, their godparents, anything that gets us to that recruit, and maintaining those relationships until such a time as we can make an offer to those guys. This is a very important position. So he's going to be out on the road talking to kids and letting them know that Auburn is interested in them. And that's hard work. That's a lot of time on the road, away from your family, hours, put in after hours. It's going to be hard work, but that's been their whole mantra this time, right? Is work, hard work. That just doesn't mean the players on the field and in the weight room. That's in recruiting. You got to put in that same hard work. So I never liked the narrative that this staff or Brian Harsin didn't want to recruit. I think they were trying to figure out what their strategy in recruiting was. Now, I'll tell you guys something. When I started working in the athletic department as a student, one of the notable differences between the Tuberville and the Bowden era was they said that Bowden would go after guys just because everybody else was recruiting them. He got a bunch of stars. Bama wants him. He's got to be good, so let's go after him. And Tuberville stopped a lot of that and said, we're going to do our own evaluation of kids. And it's going to be in-depth, and we're going to send coaches out, and we're going to try to get kids who we want and who want to be here. And then we're going to sell them on Auburn. I think Brian Harsin is trying to do something very similar, but right now, because of the advent of sports nutrition, and athletes are just so damn good these days. People see us not going after a certain kid, and they just think, oh, we're falling behind because they're not recruiting this one guy that I thought we should really have. Give me a break.
Right.
This dude's making $5 million a year. I mean, I'll wait to see what it turns on the field before I judge his recruiting. And year one wasn't it.
Yeah, because most of those weren't his recruits. And again, this year, most of the people playing aren't going to be his recruits, absent of the people from the portal. Right. So those aren't the people who he saw from high school and said, this is going to be a guy that fits my program. Let's get him into my strength and conditioning thing. And then let's try to figure out if we can develop this person into the prototypical whatever it is for whatever position it is.
Just the decisions they made at quarterback may yield 2 or 3 more wins next season.
Yeah.
This is a compelling offseason quarterback race. This isn't like last year. This is a real quarterback race we have going on between Zach Calzada, who is going to have to sit out the spring, unfortunately, or be limited, TJ Finley, Demetrius Davis, and Robbie Ashford, with Holden Garner as an outlier unless he shows superhuman ability. I don't expect him to factor into the race, but I expect them to bring him along so that next year he can be a factor in it.
Right.
I don't know, man. I just think you're going to start to see the effects of this. And if you were a coach on this staff last year, you know how close you were to something special.
Yeah.
Man, you fought in every single game and you had a chance to win every single game except for Georgia. And I would even argue they didn't exactly run all over us.
Yeah, it was late in that game before it looked bad for us.
We're going to win.
Yeah, we
Right.
were in that game until that touchdown like bomb.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I-
pretty much what broke it open. but-
Yeah, I just don't know how everybody else can ignore that reality and just look at the record and say, "Oh, 6-7, that's worse than Gus." I was like, okay, but look at what they did and what they were able to accomplish.
Right.
Took
Right.
Bama to 4 overtimes. With
Right.
our backup QB and other guys injured and hurt. Like, come on, man. Like, I just think you get a couple things together, you hold serve on defense, and you improve on offense. And this team is in the mix again come November.
And I get that we're giving you guys the rosy optimism of Auburn fans here of like, oh man, we were almost there. But the reality is we were almost
We're almost there. Yeah, it just
Yeah,
is what
that's-
it is.
That's not even a stretch of the reality of what happened in the game. Yes, we absolutely did lose those games. Like you can't rewrite the records on those. But I feel as if we were close enough in those games that if you tweak the right things, you put yourself in a drastically different position at the end of the season next year.
It's
sure.
the same way I view the losses that we've had in basketball. Is this team perfect? No. But even when we lose, it's not a reason to be in despair because we lost
Right.
by 1 point on a road to a team we haven't beaten in their house in 19 years. I just think that there are positive sides to where if you make small tweaks here and there, this is going to be the most difficult team to beat in the country in that tournament. Doesn't mean we'll win them all, but Auburn football has got a similar type situation where they were just on the wrong side of some unfortunate situations last year.
And it's year one. So this is a team that's still learning this system, learning these coaches, still believing in what these coaches are preaching. So I would expect in year two, this team will be a lot closer. There's more trust established, and these guys will be able to execute. These guys will be able to buy in and do what they're asking them so that they can execute better in those moments to yield more positive results the upcoming season.
Right. Yeah, I'll give everybody this quote because, if you watch this show, you guys know that we talked to the director of football operations, Brad Larondo. So he's closely in tune with player personnel decisions and staff personnel decisions. And in one of my conversations with him, he gave me a quote. He just said, Mike, we were playing the season with about 40% of the guys on this team bought into what we were trying to do. 40%. So it took them a year to either get a majority of the 60 over to their side and the remainder to walk and go someplace else. Now they feel good about where they're at because the guys who have chosen to stay now get it.
Yeah.
And the guys who jumped in the portal, hey, good luck to you. Hope you find some place where your good culture fit.
Right.
40%, man. Come on.
Jazzy Joe, appreciate you, man. Let me lay down the guitar. They don't call me Jazzy for nothing. Jazzy, bring it on, man. Bring it on.
Is that real? Does he play the guitar?
It sounds like it.
I'm gonna need video evidence of that. We'll put it on the show.
Listen, don't tempt them. Go ahead, Jazzy. Send us what you got. We'll probably do a whole new clip for you for the Jazzy challenge. So, guys, be sure to get the thumbs up on the video. If you haven't been commenting, please hit the thumbs up. Or if you have been commenting, just hit the thumbs up, get the likes up, guys. We greatly appreciate it. We're going to pause to acknowledge the sponsors of the War Rapport.
The War Rapport's Wednesday Night War Room is brought to you by our generous sponsors. AuburnSports.com. For news and notes on all things Auburn sports, head over to AuburnSports.com. University Ace Hardware, located at 2101 East University Drive in Auburn, Alabama, right across the street from the Auburn Mall and next to the movie theater. For all of your hardware needs, Ace is the place. And our giveaway sponsor, GWT2 Energy. If you want the best in the business at restaurant logistics, check out our friends at GWT2Energy.com.
Yo. Yo. All right, here I go. You guys need to make sure that you are doing the due diligence, and that is becoming a patron of the War Rapport. We are here dropping the hot fire for you all in the off season, man. So make sure that you are locked in with what we got going on. If you are not a patron, then you were not able to see the recent basketball breakdowns that yours truly was out here dropping on the people, man. And I am going to continue doing that sort of thing. We're going to get back into some football content as well during the off season. You don't want to miss that. We've got some great interviews coming up during the off seasons. Patrons going to get the first crack at seeing that stuff. Make sure you are a patron. Even if you can't do the $5.99, there is a $3.99 option there for you if you want to be able to support the War Report. We appreciate all of that, man. Outside of that, you already know that we are in partnership with the Lee County Humane Society, hashtag Save All the Puppies. Listen, man, if you have not given to this, it's a great way to support a great cause that we are attached to. So make sure that you take a few of your dollars, doesn't matter how many they are, and send it over there in that direction. We will greatly appreciate it. We are giving away the AU t-shirt tonight. So if you are doing the hashtag Get Your Weight Up in the comments, you can get entered into this drawing. The basketball game is going to be starting here shortly. So I know there's going to be some people with divided attention. But hey, listen, you might as well lock in with the War Report and win a little some on the side. Outside of that, you can get your podcast on with us throughout the week. We're dropping segments on the podcast only content is going to start cranking up here. We've already done our first. We will likely get our second in here this week. So make sure you're tuned in on all the places where you normally catch podcasts. And we greatly appreciate that. And just for GP, in case you forgot, yes, Virginia double triple.
Great segue into the basketball part of the show. B Will had to drop off, so it's just me, Ike Jones, and Mike G for this latter half. But let's talk some basketball. Bruce Pearl did a presser previewing Ole Miss, and he was asked about Auburn's slow starts in games. Just to give you an idea, of course, in last Saturday's game, Auburn didn't reach 20 points. And this, of course, this is what I was reading Brian Stoltz's article on auburnsports.com. He says that Auburn didn't reach the 20-point mark until 2 minutes before halftime. Against Vandy, also last week, even despite beating them 94-80, Vandy jumped out to an 11-point lead before Auburn even began to get on the board. Yeah. So it's been a pattern that we've seen with Auburn in terms of these slow starts. And Bruce Pearl talked about a few things. He talked about execution. He also kind of said something that was interesting with the coaching staff trying to implement new intricacies into the offense, basically trying to build off of some of the basics. And in the course of trying to do that, starting out in games, the guys just haven't been able to execute some of those things as well. But it boils down to execution. He also talked about outside of Jabari Smith, as a team, they haven't really shot the ball well. We know Jabari has been on fire the past few games, but outside of him, as it pertains from the three ball and from the perimeter, Auburn has been struggling, particularly with our two main scoring guards, KD and Wendell. I want to ask you guys, obviously shooting better is the obvious thing here.
Right.
But what are some things, in your opinion, that Auburn can do to prevent these slow starts as we're getting close to tourney time?
I talked about this a little bit in my Jabari Smith video. For you patrons, you can go out there and watch me do a quick breakdown of Jabari Smith and how I think that because Jabari is starting to come into his own as an offensive threat, that they need to play through Jabari early. And I've said this before on lives, but we looked at in that video an actual situation where they ran a set specifically for Jabari coming out of the second half in the Arkansas game. And that's a set that I think that we can play through a lot to be able to get the ball in his hands and allow him to make the defense dictate how they're going to play him throughout the game and then adjust off of that. I think the best way to be able to get your offense jump started is to put the ball in your best scoring threat's hands and make them stop it, right? Like, we're not going to figure out how to get somebody else going and then Jabari will get going whenever he does. All right, cool. We're going to come out the gate punching you in the mouth with Jabari, and you're going to be like, oh man, it's going to be, oh man, it's about to be one of them nights and Jabari is just going to keep scoring on them because they can't stop Jabari. Or it's going to be like, okay, I see how they're doing this. Now we can run the counter to that where we've got this other action because they think this is what we're attacking them with. We already had another plan in place. I think start with Jabari, play around outside of that set, because what it's been happening is we're going to either the flex action or we're going to the screen and roll with Walker Kessler once Wendell gets in the game, right? And teams are just saying, okay, I know what you guys are doing. You're running the flex. If you run the flex and the personnel is this is typically where you're going. If you're running the screen and roll action with Wendell, we're just going to play it in this way. And so you just kind of have to come up with that. And that's what it seems like from what Bruce Pearl is saying. That's what they're attempting to do is like, okay, you guys run this. Everybody understands that we run this. Here's the other stuff that we can run out of that, and making people have to adjust to that new. And he's doing it so late in the season, there's not going to be a lot of tape on it once they get to the tourney.
Right. Mike, what are your thoughts, man?
I agree with Ike. I think run the offense through Jabari early, but I would just add Kessler as well too. Those two have become quite the dynamic duo on the court together. So get the ball in the hands of your best playmakers. I get the rotate and get multiple guys involved. And, what he said in the presser was, we're at our best when everybody contributes. And in that loss, not everybody contributed. And he's right. If you go back and you look at the last 5 games, regardless of win or lose, there are guys who didn't do what they normally do.
Right.
And so the game was either a lot closer or we lost. So KD can't go out and have a 2-point night. Wendell Green can't go out and go 2 for 10.
Right.
He shoots too much.
Yeah.
To go 2 for 10 and for us to have a good night offensively. So it just feels like it's taking them into the second half to get into a flow offensively. And I think that if you go to your go-tos early, move the ball. KD has been kind of over dribbling as of late. Get to the basket, man, get fouled. And some of the wins, I remember earlier this season, people were complaining about all the calls we were getting. And then now we're barely getting to the free throw line.
Yeah.
I want to say we went the whole first half not shooting a single free throw.
Right.
And I don't think you can necessarily blame that on the refs either.
Right.
We just weren't aggressive going to the hole. So
a lot of outside shots, definitely a little too much of that happening from specifically Wendell. He has not been either when he goes to the lane, he's not getting calls a lot, which I understand that. But I for him and with Flanagan, I've said this over and over again, the mid range is there all day for them. And they get a little too deep sometimes, or they're looking to pass when they get into the lane when they should just take the floater, take the mid range, because it's going to be open all the time because teams are playing you to either take the 3 or they're taking you to drive all the way to the goal. This is a good question here by AUB Albie 117. He says, does anyone know why our point guards don't initiate play calls instead of looking to the bench? Really great question. I think it's because they have not been in the offense long enough for Coach Pearl to let them just go out there and run their own sets and decide what they want to do. You have to think none of the guys who play guard for us were on this team last year. Not a single one of them. There is no returning point guard on our squad. So they're still trying to figure out the offense. I mean, this point in the season, they probably know a lot of it, but how and when to go for different things, I think is going to be important as we get into the sets. And again, half court, we haven't been great. So I wouldn't trust them to run the offense in the half court.
Yeah. I would also challenge everyone watching, our fans, to consider that the identity of this team is defense.
Mm-hmm.
This is a defensive basketball team. And I know scoring and offense is sexy, but, we're past. I mean, guys, we're 27 games in at this point. Right? I think they are who they're going to be. And that's a good defensive team that will keep you in every single game. And we're going to have times where we're stagnant on offense and times where we're dynamic on offense. But ultimately, winning is going to be about playing defense.
Guys, what do you think about something that Bruce said that I thought was was a good point? To what degree is it that Auburn's offense has to adapt to what defenses are starting to do? Because now they know what Auburn is going to do now. Like if you're KD, we're just going to try to take the charge. We know what he's going to do.
Right.
He's more dynamic when he's playing downhill. So try to draw offensive fouls from him. So it makes it tougher for him to do what he normally does. And so I think that taking away the screen again, Walker Kessler was like you just getting alley-oops left and right, but teams are starting to take that away. Right. So a lot of it is about Auburn having to find points elsewhere. And the points aren't coming as easily because now that we're towards the end of the season, they know the scouting report. They know what Auburn does. So that's a part of it as well.
That's 100% what it is. It's teams have seen this play out enough, and they've seen people take it away. So it's like, okay, this is how you stop the pick and roll action. This is how you defend the flex, right? We're just going to do these things, and Auburn's having to figure out how to adjust and make the adjustment. So we're in that. It honestly took us 20 something game, like 24 games before people started being able to stop it. And so they didn't have to adjust. They were just like, it's like, all right, cool. We can just do this and keep winning. And we're putting up 70 plus points per game, doing the same thing. So like, why do I adjust? Then you run into a couple of teams, you run into that Missouri team, you run into Arkansas, you run into Georgia on the road, and they start making those adjustments. It actually started with South Carolina. South Carolina was the first team that really pressed Auburn into figuring out some different ways to score. And again, I know I haven't been doing as many film breakdowns, but if you watch film enough, you'll see we have been making subtle adjustments to things. You'll see that we are the back screens are different on certain plays than they have been typically. Like you'll see that how the player off ball on the pick and roll is adjusting differently to different things. So we are making the adjustments. It's just that it hasn't manifested in points yet because the team is still trying to figure out. If you watched the Auburn offense first 3 games of the season, you were like, oh, this is ugly. And then it got pretty because they started understanding how to do those things. And now we're making the adjustments. Oh, this is ugly. Once they figure out those new roles and new responsibilities and these adjustments, it's going to get pretty again. The question is, can it get pretty in the next 4 games? It only took us 3 or 4 games to start the season for it to get pretty. I don't see why we can't hit a stride again as we get into the tournament.
Definitely.
What are your thoughts about? Will we ever see them try to get Zep Jasper involved in the offense in any way? It seems like he's all but disappear.
Yeah, he's a pretty good 3-point shooter. I don't know, man. He's concentrating on it feels like on creating for his teammates, and I think he's doing a great job of that. But like, at the end of the day, I would like to see him take some more open shots and give the defense another person that they got to worry about scoring. There are plenty of guys on this team that can score.
Right. So I'm just curious about that because again, we've seen him hit. Like I like how he has great shot selection. He takes good shots and makes them. So I'm like, people are so focused on KD and where they are. That's a great opportunity for Zep to just kind of hit the opposing teams with a jumper here and there because they're not really playing him as aggressively. He's a great ball handler. He doesn't turn the ball over much, and I think that's one of the reasons why he plays a lot outside of him being a great defender. Yeah, but he can shoot the ball. So I'm just, like we talked about with Jabari. Why aren't we seeing any sets that gets Zep Jasper some open looks?
I mean, I think a part of it is how Zep Jasper gets his points. He is not a create my own shot kind of guy. And so he either needs to be spotting up, which he typically is not going to be doing at the point guard position unless we start running more wing action. And and then he's an off the ball person, right? Or he's going to have to get it with 1 or 2 dribbles, get to a spot, pull up. It's not going to be the KD Johnson or Wendell pound the ball into the ground, come off of a screen, shoot it, or get by a guy type of stuff. Zep Jasper is more of a catch the ball in rhythm shoot or 1-2 dribble, get to a spot, put it up. Or transition, right? So if he's going to be shooting jump shots, he's going to have to figure another way to get into the offense if he's going to be running the on-ball point guard position. Because the way our offense works, he's typically at the top. And the ball rotation for spot-up shooters, it tends to be corner stuff or wing stuff, which he's not typically in. So he's just going to have to – they're going to have to figure out – I think if as we start playing through Jabari in the high post on the wing, those opportunities open up for Zep Jasper at the top, depending on if they're going to double off of his man or the rotation allows it to come back around to him. So I think that there is an opportunity for him to do that in the future. It just, the way that our offense is structured right now, it just doesn't cater to him offensively, which allows him to make sure his focus is getting us into the right sets and playing really great defense. He doesn't have to worry about scoring. Go out there and do your part, which he does a phenomenal job of.
Agreed.
I think it's time. We already played it, but I think it's time for another challenge. Shall we, fellas?
Let's do it.
Okay.
Can't believe that shit.
So the challenge is the over and under on the guy's average, this like points, right? So
Mhm.
I've had Jabari. B has had KD. Ike, you have Wendell.
Mhm.
And Mike, you got Big Sexy, right?
Yeah, Walker.
So B is taking the under for KD tonight.
That's a good
I
bet.
haven't seen anyone's scores yet, so I'm still oblivious to what's going on. I am going to say what's Jabari's average right now? Is he 16?
16 points, 16.3.
I'm gonna go over for Jabari. That's
Mm.
easy.
Yeah,
I'm going over for Walker.
I'm taking the over for Wendell as well. If you watched my prize pick segment, I thought he was going to have a bounce back game. I think he's averaging somewhere around 11 and a half, 12 points a game, something like that.
Mhm.
So I think he goes for probably mid-teens today.
Okay, all right, I feel that.
I'm not expecting 28 or 30 from Jabari, but a cool 18 will get the job done. I'm thinking.
Mm.
So B's got KD going. KD is averaging 12.7, so he has him not even getting 12. Or has him
Yeah,
getting up to
I can
12.
see that, man. He's in a slump right now, I think, offensively. So
I mean, and to be fair, Wendell has been in a slump too. I just think he's going to have a bounce back game tonight.
you might be right.
Yeah. Well,
you might be right, Ike.
oh, Mike's cheating. Mike's looking.
You might be right about Wendell.
So yeah, I'm eager.
To be clear, this is not me cheating. If you watched my prize pit segment before the game started, I 100% said that on that segment too. So
yeah, facts. That's facts. He did say that.
But one of the things too, I think you mentioned it on Sunday, Ike, is how critical our bench is. I mean, the bench is critical for most people, right? But because of what Wendell means for this team, it's important for him to get his. It's important for him to get his points, because if it's almost like he's contagious. If he's doing well, the other bench begins to play with confidence and start playing well.
Well, I mean, the thing about Wendell is when he's scoring, it makes that screen and roll that much more dangerous, right? Like you can't just go under all the time on the screen and roll, because if you go under and he's hitting the three, then you're going to get cooked all night, because he's got the confidence to keep shooting it. All he needs to see is one or two of them go down. He's like, okay, green light. And he's just going to keep firing it up. But if he does that and then you adjust to try to press him on it and he can turn the corner, it's Lob Town.
Yeah.
That's how the Lob Town works, is Wendell hits a couple threes. People have to play that screen and roll differently. Then he's downhill, and now you pick your poison.
That's facts. That is good basketball knowledge.
How many points does Wendell have right now?
Oh yeah, baby. I was hoping you would ask. He's got 9 points already.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so
yeah,
Ike's gonna win his challenge.
I was about to say it's a good shot at him getting over his
So I guess this is a good time as any to go to our next show sponsor, and let's play a quick game real quick. But shout out to our sponsor, Rogue Shop.
This segment of the War Rapport is brought to you in part by RogueShop.com. If you're in need of high-quality, all-natural herbs and extracts that contribute to a happy, healthy lifestyle, the Rogue Shop is the place for you. With a variety of products that contribute to a healthy sleep, lower stress, and a happy mood, the Rogue Shop has you covered. Visit them at DRogueShop.com and use code RAPPORT today. Tell them the War Rapport sent you.
Go on over to the Rogue Shop. Use code RAPPORT, 10% off. That's our guy, Richard. They've got some great stuff over there. So as with anything, be knowledgeable about things that you're putting in your body, but they have some great products to help with sleep, mood, all kinds of stuff. He sent us some samples. I tried them. I can vouch for their effectiveness in certain areas. So go check them out.
And please use
code
rapport. Hey, I'm not sure if you guys knew, but Walker Kessler's uncle played at Georgia. Just a tidbit of information that's probably never been said before.
Never.
Today. But And also, I think Wendell might have that look in his eye.
Oh my God. Wasn't that the most ridiculous broadcast you ever listened to the last time? Those guys were terrible. I'm sorry. I'm sure they're good at their job.
They're
other
bringing
days,
out
but
all
they
the classics tonight. Apparently, I'm not watching, but you guys are reporting back, and it's crazy that
I
Oh,
love. It was like, hey, did you know that Walker Kessler was recruited out of high school by Bruce Pearl and went to North Carolina?
just unreal, man. I just don't understand it. It wasn't good. It wasn't a good performance by them. They had a bad day.
They did not have that look in their eye.
No, they did not.
How many gummies you think we're going to need for this game?
Man, this is one. This is one gummy night.
You know what? I'm hoping it's a one gummy night, man. I'm tired. I want to see us get back to
You
the blowout.
tired of taking gummies?
I'm just,
One
man,
gummy night.
I just don't want. I need a break. What I would love to have is a one gummy night when we go on the road. But you
Right.
know, home, we tend to do our thing, right? Like, even though, see, here's the thing: we didn't start out slow this game, and so that's a problem for Ole Miss. Because usually if we start out well, we're gonna let down somewhere in the middle, but we're gonna finish super strong. But if we're not having to expend a bunch of energy to come back in a game against a team that is already overmatched, I don't know, cuz it might be a long night for Ole Miss.
Yeah,
Agreed.
I agree.
Agreed.
Yeah, one gummy night. It's Ole Miss, and we're at home. Have we lost the game at home yet? We haven't lost the game at
We're
home yet.
undefeated at home.
When was the last time Auburn lost a game at home?
Oh man,
It was last season.
it was last season for sure.
It was definitely last season.
Yeah, we had a fax and nah saying the next time Auburn loses at home will be next year. So I think we got one more game. We got one more game at home after this game. I think that's South Carolina, right?
It was Florida, Tuesday, February 23rd last year was the last home game we lost.
Today is February 23rd. It's been an
Yeah,
entire year since we've lost a home game. That's crazy.
Yeah, so they're pretty good at home. Those guys, those Auburn guys.
Yeah,
they do okay in their own house at Neville Arena. I saw them change.
I gotta get used to that. I gotta get used to that, man.
I saw somebody say, hold on, let me make sure. I'm gonna look it up. That that we actually are gonna need to call it Nevy Arena because we're not taking no L's. And I thought that was brilliant.
That is a t-shirt.
Yeah,
definitely a t-shirt.
Nevy Arena. That. Welcome to Nevy Arena. You can have our L's.
Oh my God.
Nice. Listen, man, we're almost towards the end of the broadcast. Let's go ahead and get to this t-shirt giveaway, shall we? In case you guys do not know, in case you haven't done so yet, please get your weight up. Check your spelling in the comments. We're giving away an AU t-shirt. Definitely do that, guys, so you can get a chance to win.
All right, we still got 173 people on here. Y'all doing double duty tonight. I appreciate that. 61 folks in here lined up and ready to get them a t-shirt. I'll give you a couple more minutes to put that in there. 65 now. You guys are starting to pile in here. If you weren't aware,
got a question for you, Mike G. Just saw the Delta 8 gummies on Rogue Shop website. Are those your faves?
Yes. Just check the dosage and dose carefully. But they are my faves, actually.
Dang,
you about to say Ike? Sorry,
I don't even remember now. What was I talking about?
Oh, Wendell.
I don't remember what I was talking about. I'll think about it later.
Dude, guys, KD is in a slump, guys.
All right. Hashtag get your weight up. You guys get in here.
Hashtag get your weight
We're at
up.
70 now.
That's good enough. Oh, I was going to say, if you guys didn't see, Corey Weber actually won on the last show.
Corey, I mean, it was sad. I texted, I was like, yeah, I don't even know. This just feels wrong. I was rooting for you, but now that you've won, I don't know. These things have lost their, like, what do we root for? What happens if he wins again? he can't even be a member anymore, right?
But we are rooting for Lawrence now to get in.
Yeah,
Lawrence.
Lawrence is the new. Yeah, Lawrence is the new.
As a new
Corey.
Corey.
Yeah, so let's do it for Lawrence today. Let's see if Lawrence. Let's
Lawrence,
see
what you got, bro?
I don't
It'd
see
be
his
funny if
name
Lawrence
yet.
wins. It'd be hilarious if he wins.
William Nichols.
William Nichols.
William, make sure
William,
you
are you here, sir?
Are you still here, William? Make sure you're
We'll
still
hang
here.
around.
Did you
We'll hang
did you
around
turn
a
us
little
off for the game, William, or are you here?
Mm-hmm.
Did you do a drive by, get your weight up?
We will draw again.
Yeah, we ain't got nowhere to go.
We will draw again.
Ah, man, Jeremy Nichols is here.
Jeremy Eccles.
Oh, Eccles, my bad. I thought I said Nichols.
Eccles. Lawrence says, God damn it. Oh man. Yeah, I don't know. Katie is guys, Katie, I'm worried about Katie.
I'm not. I think he'll get it back together before.
I hope so.
I think so. I mean, again, sometimes shooters go through it. And I think for him, because of how he plays, there's a greater tendency for him to press. So
yeah, for sure. You know, he's it's hard to beat us when he's scoring.
Yeah.
And out there making plays. Now he's going to give you 100%. That's one thing I'll tell you. Bruce Pearl has said that I think has rung true for this team is that if we lose, it's not going to be because we didn't try hard.
Right.
Yeah. So I think he's doing that. Was that a Zep Jasper shot? It was. Guys, I think we're willing things into existence right now.
Here we go.
I think it's happening. So,
I don't think
Flanagan's going to score 20 in the next game.
So
willing things into existence.
Some streaks die, Ike. And
all right. I do not see.
I think we're going to have to redraw.
I think we're going to have to redraw.
Yeah, I don't see William here, man. We've given you plenty of time, bro. So I'm sorry. It is what it is.
William, you're watching the game, and
he's going to come back and be like, "Damn it!"
Listen, it is what it is, man.
The
rules are clear.
Gonna start yelling at his girlfriend, telling him to take out the trash.
4. Lawrence says, "I'm here though." 3.
Oh, is he gonna do it?
2.
Bugback says, "Spin it."
Let's go, Ike.
There it is. Do I see Lawrence's name? I don't see it. Paul Huggins.
Paul Huggins, are you here?
Are you here?
Paul Huggins,
what? How many times have we had to draw? Have we had to do 4 draws yet?
I think 3 is the biggest.
I think 3.
3?
I think 3.
And one of them, I think we got the same person twice, so that's the reason we did it a third time.
Yeah, Nino Brown.
Funny. That was
Nino
funny.
Brown. Yeah, I was like, yo, Nino won twice in one.
Paul,
sitting.
are you here? It's tough to do this during the basketball game.
It is. It is. Paul, if you don't show up.
I see Paul on here quite a bit too.
Mm-hmm. He going too.
Hey, man, when the basketball game was on, people was like, "All right, man, we're
watching something else."
We were up at like 200 and something people, and now we are 169. So it's likely a lot of those people are gone.
Anthony Grant said, "I think I should be grandfathered for a T." Is that another Zep Jasper sighting? Good God, what's happening tonight?
Hey,
oh my goodness! Unleashed Magazine is jumping in. More of y'all jumping in here.
See, most of y'all getting
yeah. Nino Brown back. Nino, you can't win no more, bro. You won like 4 times already
on the same show.
Mm-hmm. Man, I'm excited. So we have 4 games left in the season now.
Yeah,
we end at Tennessee. How important is it that we win that last game?
It depends on what we do in the next 3. I think if we win every game except for that one, screw Tennessee. I don't care if we beat them. Let them feel confident going into the tournament. I'd love to beat them just to kill the narrative that we can't beat people on the road, or we can't beat a quality team on the road. But hey, I don't. As long as we are sitting in the driver's seat once we get into the SEC tournament, I really could care less. And if we win every game, then that's what we do.
Well, here's another question: What's more impactful? An SEC regular season championship or an SEC tourney championship?
Well, I mean, we asked that question on social media. We had a lot of people weigh in. I think it actually, the answer is it depends, honestly, right? Like if you are Georgia right now, the SEC tournament championship is everything for you because it's an automatic bid. Um, I think the regular season championship shows a longer commitment to winning over a season, and so
Mhm.
it's probably the stronger team. But peaking at the right time is important. And so winning the SEC tournament shows you're peaking at the right time. I don't think it's necessary to win the tourney to show that. I just think you have to be playing well when you get into the tourney.
Right.
So
Right.
if you don't win the regular season title, the SEC tournament is everything.
Yeah.
Right.
So I put this on Twitter, but in 42 SEC tourneys since 1975, only 15 times has the SEC regular season champion won the tournament. Only 15 times. So it's actually not that common. And 8 of those was Kentucky.
Yeah, I was about to say that's when Kentucky was dominating the league.
Yeah.
Right.
So, I just not that common. So winning it does not make your chances of winning the tourney better for whatever reason. It just doesn't. And in 2000, they had a weird one where there was a 4-way tie for the regular season championship, and then Arkansas won the whole thing, and they weren't even in the tie.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great question. So Chase asked what happened to Jazzy. So you were a part of this challenge that we just did, Chase. He had assigned you a 5th player, and I forgot.
Flanagan.
Yeah, Flanagan.
Yeah.
You have to pick the over under of whether Flanagan's going to hit his point total for the game.
Yeah.
That's how you were factored into the Jazzy challenge today. So tweet Jazzy your answer for that before the halftime, so you can get that in there.
Yeah, you're kind of cheating now. Don't look, Chase.
He's probably been watching the game the whole time.
Yeah, you've been watching the whole time. You probably know.
All right, man. We finna have to pull again, bro. He is not here.
All right. Yeah, we're gonna
Don't do that,
it.
Chase.
We should have Paul. Man, are these people going to be? Are we going to get angry emails?
They'll be all right.
Paul ain't gonna get no
ain't my fault.
shirt. Paul ain't gonna get no shirt.
It is not my fault. Y'all know the rules. You have to be present to win. I was about to say it's Nino again.
What damn ATL? I think he's won.
I have no idea.
I'm pretty sure he's won. Let me check the list.
There's a list.
We got a spreadsheet.
I'm pretty sure he's won. No. Nope.
He hasn't.
That is locked. Oh man.
No.
I can't even check. Well, let's see if he's here. Is this going to be a 4th time? What's going on? The game. It's the game.
Talk about manifesting.
Yeah, it's the game.
Cheated.
Yeah, showed his name for a second.
Hey!
Oh, there you go.
He's here. What do you have ATL, man? Hey, email us, bro, if you're a bro. Kind of a gender neutral screen name there. Email us business@the-War Rapport. We need your address and your t-shirt size so we can get that AU t-shirt right out to you. Appreciate
Congrats, good sir. Mike G, take us away, man.
Hey, listen, we appreciate everybody for joining us on a game night. Become a patron. This is a great way to support our content. Beside all the excellent basketball breakdowns that you're going to get. And during the season, last season, we gave you guys Shop It Up with a Pro. We give our patron members access to special content that we're doing. And you can help us continue to produce that content by becoming a patron. $5.99 will help get us there. If that's a little steep, we have a $3.99 option where you still get access to some things. But mostly, guys, this just helps keep us viable. So we appreciate everybody who does this because they love us. So become a patron. We appreciate your support. We're partnered with the Lee County Humane Society, who also appreciates your support. Please go to our About section, click on the link. 50 cents on every dollar you donate will help us help them. #save all the puppies. Congratulations to our raffle winner, War ATL. If you didn't win, you can just buy one of these things that we're giving away and support our content this way. It's a great way to get something in return for that, too. So visit our merch store at thewarreport.com. We appreciate everybody who's going to go over there and buy some fly gear. That stuff has been selling like crazy lately. So we appreciate you guys' support. And tag us on social media when you get your gear. Let them know that you guys are rocking with the War Rapport. We're on podcast. Check us out on every single podcast platform there is, guys. We're winning. We're going to continue to win, and podcast is the way we're going to do that. So subscribe, download, leave us a review. Let them know that the War Rapport is what you prefer on podcasts. Shout out to the Rogue Shop supplying us with gummies to get through the rest of this tournament. Support them as well too. Code Rapport. It's Code Rapport on everything. If you guys haven't figured it out for our sponsors, we just make it simple for you guys. Code Rapport, 10% off, but mostly it lets our guy Richard know that you guys came over from the War Rapport. So visit rogueshop.com and get with them over there. So we are thanking our title sponsor. Also, auburnsports.com. That's our guy, JG Tate, over at the Brain Drain. I'm sure he's live right now as well. If not, he'll probably be live after the game. So I'm going to hop over there and do some basketball stuff tonight.
Guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us on game night. Go enjoy the game. But before you get out of here, share this video if you're on social media. Use hashtag #GetYourWeight If you haven't done so already, like this video. If you are new to the channel, please be sure to subscribe to our channel, hit the notification bell, because we do go live when news breaks. Also, you want to interact with us on social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. We are at the War Rapport. And if you're a TikToker, we are at TW Rapport there as well. That's it for now, guys. Enjoy the rest of the game. Enjoy the rest of your week. And as always, War Eagle.
War Eagle.